In 2012, DEA agents arrested a fat man in shorts and sandals at Monrovia Airport. He didn't resist, didn't run, just raised his hands. Over the next few hours, he gave up everyone: mercenaries, killers, partners, people who called him boss and thought he would protect them. This man ran an empire with $400 million annual revenue. Across 4 continents, 7 contract murders, arms deals with Somali pirates, drugs, gold, a submarine for cocaine transport, and one more detail, the one nobody expected. This man possibly created Bitcoin. His name was Paul Le Roux, occupation programmer. How did a shy, self-taught kid from South Africa become the head of a global criminal network? At what point does a man with a legal genius-level business decide that rules are just someone else's code he can rewrite? And what happens inside when your only limit is your own conscience? We all live by rules, laws, morality, fear of consequences. But what if you remove fear? What if you're so much smarter than the system that you stop being afraid of it? Paul Le Roux answered that question through actions, and the answer turned out to be terrifying. Chapter 1: Code and Millions. December 1972. Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. Country in the middle of a liberation war. White child born into family that can't keep him. Parents give the boy up almost immediately. Le Roux family from Pretoria takes him in his first months of life. Paul grows up in quiet suburb of South African capital. Regular house, middle class, adoptive parents kind. But Paul always feels slightly foreign. Not in the family, in the world generally. At school, he's not a bully and not quiet, just different. Barely talks to classmates. Teachers say smart but uncommunicative. Parents worry. Paul doesn't worry. He's 13 when everything changes. Father brings home a Commodore 64, green screen, 8 kilobytes of memory. By 1986 standards, expensive toy. Paul sits down at computer in evening, stands up in morning. Not because he played games, because he wrote code. At 13, most kids kick ball in yard. Paul studies programming languages from library books, takes one, returns it, takes next, reads at night with flashlight under blanket so he won't wake parents. There's something in this code that doesn't exist in real world. Logic, order. If you wrote it right, it works. If it doesn't work, you made mistake, not the world. For boy who always felt foreign among people, this is revelation. By 15, Paul writes programs better than adult specialists with diplomas. No courses, no teachers, just books, documentation, and nights in front of screen. 1990. Paul is 18, drops out of school. Not because he's failing, just decides diploma is paper, code is reality, gets job at small IT company in Pretoria, writes accounting software, boring, low pay, 2 years later quits. Freelance, writes security systems on contract, and that's when he finds what will become his superpower. Encryption, mid-90s, internet just starting. Companies store data without protection, passwords in plain text. Banks transmit financial information through unsecured channels. Paul sees this and thinks, whoever learns to hide information for real will be needed by everyone. He starts studying cryptography, not superficially, all the way to bottom. Mathematics behind algorithms. Number theory, prime numbers and their properties, what all modern encryption rests on. By 1999, Paul creates program, calls it E4M, encryption for the masses. E4M works simply and brilliantly. You create virtual disk on computer, put files there. Program encrypts entire disk with military-grade AES. Without password, nothing can be read, even if computer seized, even if intelligence agencies work on cracking it for years. Paul releases E4M as open source, free. Code open, anyone can check, verify there's no backdoor. Program downloaded by thousands, then tens of thousands. Journalists protect sources. Dissidents in dictatorships hide correspondence. Corporations encrypt trade secrets. And military, American, European, Israeli. Paul Le Roux's code encrypts military operations, protects intelligence, hides what states don't want to show each other. Irony Paul doesn't realize then. Same military using his code today will be hunting him in 10 years. But now Paul is famous in narrow circles. Cryptographers respect him. Security specialists cite his work. And he doesn't earn a cent from E4M. Program is free. 2002, Paul is 30, lives in South Africa, rents apartment, works freelance. Married to Lisa, she doesn't really understand what he does, but that's normal. Paul doesn't explain his work to anyone. Daughter is born. Paul holds her in his arms at hospital, tiny, warm, looks at him with huge dark eyes. He thinks, she needs security, best school, house, future. Paul looks at his bank account, good but not enough, never enough, and starts searching. In early 2000s, online commerce gaining momentum. Amazon sells books, eBay, used goods. But there's niche nobody has taken, medicine. In US, pills cost 3 to 5 times more than in other countries. Viagra, $150 per pack. Oxycodone, $200. In India, same pills cost $20, sometimes less. Price difference, arbitrage, and millions of Americans who can't afford treatment at official prices. Paul sees this and thinks, there's business here. Technically, gray zone. Selling medicine without prescription is illegal, but site registered offshore, server in Philippines, bank account in Hong Kong. Who will check? Paul registers company, calls it RX Limited, creates site, medication catalog, buy button, credit card payment, mail delivery, no questions, no prescriptions. First month RX Limited brings $3,000, profit $1,200, second $8,000, third $20,000. Paul looks at numbers. Numbers grow each month exponentially. This is an accident, it's system, his system. By end of 2003, RX Limited brings $50,000 monthly clear profit. Paul hires assistants, Filipinos process orders, Indian factory produces pills, couriers deliver across US and Europe. He sits in Pretoria and manages everything through encrypted email, his own encryption. What he created for E4M, nobody can intercept. By 2005, RX Limited is network of 20 sites. One sells Viagra, another painkillers, third sedatives, all under different names, all through different banks. Paul earns $300,000 monthly. He's 33 years old. And then lawyer walks into his office. Lawyer brings letter, FDA, American Food and Drug Administration. They know about RX Limited. They qualify activity as illegal sale of prescription drugs, recommend immediate cessation. Paul reads letter, puts it on table, opens laptop, registers 10 more sites. If they know about 20, let them try closing 30. This is first moment when Paul consciously looks system in eyes and chooses to violate it, not for money, On principle, he's smarter, system can't keep up with him, and he's right. FDA closes several sites. Paul opens new ones. Cat and mouse. Paul wins. But South Africa becomes cramped. Tax office asks questions. Police interested in income source. Paul doesn't want to explain. He makes decision quickly and without regret. Relocates. Manila, capital of Philippines. 14 million people. Corruption, chaos, perfect place to be invisible. Paul rents villa in gated Makati district, security, pool, city view, $5,000 monthly. For him, pocket change, moves family, wife, daughter, new life in tropics. But Paul almost never home, works 16 hours. Expands network, new sites, new suppliers, new countries. Wife notices. He comes when she's already asleep, leaves when she's still asleep, barely spends time with daughter, answers questions briefly or not at all. She thinks he's busy with business. She doesn't know how much. By 2006, Paul earns over $1 million monthly. He buys villa, his own, 2 floors, 7 bedrooms, staff, maids, cooks, guards. RX Limited now sells not just in US, Europe, Australia, Canada. Everywhere there's internet and credit cards. Money flows through dozens of banks. Hong Kong, Singapore, Belize, Cyprus. Every transaction encrypted, every trace masked. Paul uses his own encryption. Same when he created Free for World. Now it protects his criminal business. And here's something important happens inside. Paul sits one evening with calculator. RX Limited, 15 million yearly. Good, but this is limit. Gray zone ceiling. He looks at number, thinks about risks. Thinks about everything being taken away, and thinks, what if we remove ceiling? Drugs pay 10 times more than pills. Weapons, 20. Paul isn't afraid. He sees this simply as different business model, different risks but different income. No fear, only calculation, and that's scariest part. 2007, man named Joseph Hunter flies to Philippines, former military, US Army, sniper, Iraq, Afghanistan. After Army became mercenary, works for whoever pays. Paul hires him as security. Hunter brings his people, former Marines, Special Forces, people who know how to shoot, plan operations, and not ask extra questions. Paul looks at these men and understands. He now has tool he didn't have before. Before this, his weapon was code, logic, mathematics. Now he has people with real weapons. 2008, RX Limited brings 20 million clear profit. But Paul already thinking about something else. He buys gold mine in Zimbabwe, hires workers, security. Smuggles gold out through Mozambique, opens timber business in Congo, legal on paper. In reality, cuts protected forests and sells wood to China, invests in Philippine real estate, hotels, land, islands. By 2009, Paul Le Roux has business across 4 continents, legal and illegal simultaneously. His name doesn't appear in any official documents. Nominee directors, offshore companies, transaction chains through 20 banks. On paper, Paul Le Roux is just programmer living in Philippines. In reality, boss of growing empire. In Washington at this time, DEA agent opens thin folder. Cover reads, Le Roux, Paul Calder. Inside, several pages, fragmentary data, names, transactions, assumptions. Folder still thin, but it will grow. And Paul starts being afraid, not of DEA, not Interpol, not Philippine police. He's afraid of people nearby. More money means more people know. Call center employees, suppliers, couriers, guards, each one potential leak. Paul starts checking employee phones, monitoring correspondence, demands security report on every villa guest. At night, he lies thinking, which one will sell me? To whom? For how much? Wife sees something wrong with him. He doesn't sleep, drinks heavily, barely looks at daughter. She tries to talk. Paul answers everything's fine. Just work. This is last thing he tells her for real. 2010. Catherine Lee worked at RX Limited call center several years, processed orders, new business structure, new names, new accounts. She decides to leave, tells Paul she wants to return to normal life. Paul nods, processes resignation, even pays severance, but then doesn't sleep for a week. Thinks she knows too much. What if she talks to police, to journalists, just a friend at party and someone accidentally hears? Paul calls Joseph Hunter, doesn't speak directly, hints, problem, need solution. Hunter understands. 3 weeks later, Catherine Lee found dead in her Manila apartment. Official version, robbery. Paul reads news on laptop, closes tab, opens monthly financial reports, revenue up 8%. He just ordered murder of real person he knew personally, whose hand he shook, who worked for him for years, and only thing he thinks this minute is revenue up 8%. Cliffhanger to Chapter 2. By 2011, Paul Le Roux earns over $400 million annually. Online pharmacies, gold, timber, real estate. But it's not enough. He starts negotiations with Somali pirates, wants to supply them weapons, Kalashnikov rifles, grenade launchers for cash, connects with Iranian intermediaries, missiles, explosives, everything those at war need, starts moving methamphetamine from China, cocaine from Brazil, and plans to buy real submarine, not metaphor, actual sub, for drug transport across Pacific Ocean. Folder in Washington no longer thin. It's filled entire cabinet. DEA knows his name, his face, his roots. And while Paul thinks about submarine, DEA agents already planning trap. They choose location, Liberia, small West African country where American agents work without restrictions. Just need to lure him there. Chapter 2. Empire of Evil. March 2012. Paul Le Roux sits on the terrace of his Makati villa and transfers $500,000 to build a submarine. Not a metaphor. Real submarine. For cocaine transport across Pacific Ocean. He does this as routinely as he used to pay website hosting bills, opens banking interface, enters amount, clicks confirm. 10 years ago, this man created encryption used by journalists and dissidents, protected those who couldn't protect themselves. Now, he's building submarine for drug cartel. By early 2012, Paul earns over $400 million annually. On paper, it's several dozen offshore companies in different jurisdictions, timber operations in Congo, gold mines in Zimbabwe, Philippine real estate. In reality, drugs, weapons, and network of 300 people working for him worldwide. Each knows only their piece. Only Paul sees full picture. This gives him illusion of control, and simultaneously, slowly destroys him. At same time in Washington, DEA Special Agent Derek Maltz stands before investigation board. 8 years of work, hundreds of pages of documents, network diagrams, names, transactions, center of board, blurry passport photo, only photograph of Paul Le Roux they managed to find, taken 7 years ago in South Africa. Maltz looks at photo, thinks, this man sells weapons to Somali pirates, sells drugs across 3 continents, ordered murder of at least 2 of his employees, and we still can't touch him. Military-grade encryption, 3 layers of offshore companies, nominee directors everywhere, never appears physically at any deal himself. Maltz takes red marker, writes 1 word on board, Liberia. Idea just starting to form, but instinct says, there. How Paul reached $400 million annually is separate story. 2011. RX Limited brings stable income, but Paul sees ceiling approaching. FDA closes sites faster. Banks block accounts more often. Gray zone becoming dangerous. Need something else. Paul thinks like programmer. There's infrastructure, logistics, couriers, encrypted communication channels, banking chains. This infrastructure created for pills, but it works for anything. If you can invisibly transport pills from India to US, you can transport anything. First methamphetamine shipment arrives from China, 110 pounds, packed in container with electronics, passes through customs in Hong Kong, then Sydney. Australian dealers pay $400,000 for 1 shipment for 2 weeks. Paul looks at number, then looks at pharmacy revenue for same month. Gap obvious. He orders next shipment, double size. Weapons connection comes through Hunter. Joseph Hunter by this time no longer just head of security. He's Paul's right hand. Man who solves problems that can't be solved with money, only with force. Hunter still has connections with arms dealers from Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Moldova, places where after USSR, collapsed weapons remained in warehouses and guards can be paid. First delivery to Somalis, 200 AK-47 rifles, 30 RPG grenade launchers, packed as agricultural equipment, shipped through Odessa to Mombasa, from there by small vessel to Somalia. $2 million cash. Paul takes $1 million. Hunter with team takes rest, everyone happy. But Paul already thinking about next level. He meets with intermediary from Brazil. Man proposes scheme. Cocaine from Colombia to Australia across Pacific. Volumes measured in tons. Profit tens of millions per trip. One problem, route. Regular vessels get inspected. Aircraft tracked by radar. Intermediary says, need submarine. Paul thinks it's joke. Then realizes, no. Colombian cartel's been building improvised subs for 10 years, travel at depth of 10 feet, carry 4,000 to 6,000 pounds of cargo. Radar can't see them. Coast Guard doesn't notice. Paul starts searching, connects with shipyard in South America. Price for custom submarine, $2 million. And here he sits on terrace, whiskey, sunset, laptop, clicks confirm. $500,000 first installment. Man who once created encryption to protect world from surveillance, now financing submarine construction for drug cartel. Paul finishes whiskey. Pours more, looks at ocean, thinks everything going according to plan. But something inside already broken. Paranoia that started with first murder with Catherine Lee now won't let go. Paul checks employee phones, demands security reports on every guest. At night lies counting. Which of 300 people working for him will sell him out first? One call center employee, Dave Smith, requests resignation. Says wants to return to US, to family. Paul lets him go, even pays severance, shakes his hand, wishes him luck. Then at night can't sleep. Dave knows names, knows routes, knows accounts. He's American. If he talks to right people, it's over. Paul gets up at 3 a.m., writes Hunter one word, Smith. Hunter understands. 3 weeks later, Dave Smith found dead in Manila hotel room. Official version, overdose. Dave never used drugs, but nobody cares. Paul receives confirmation from Hunter in morning. One word, done. He reads, deletes message, goes to kitchen, makes coffee. Outside window Manila waking up, cars honking, market vendors shouting, ordinary morning. Paul drinks coffee thinking only one thing. Need to find Dave's replacement at call center. He no longer thinks of Dave as person. He thinks of him as closed task. Several days later, Paul drives to Makati Market. Regular trip. Needed fresh fish, cook asked. In crowd, he sees woman. Back view, chestnut hair, blue blouse. 1 second, he thinks. Catherine. Then woman turns, different face, stranger. Paul stands middle of market, noise around, smell of spices and fish, sun beating in eyes, and he understands. He felt nothing. No guilt, no fear, no regret, just confused faces for 1 second. This scarier than any nightmare. Not that he kills people, but that he stopped feeling it. Wife returns from South Africa with daughter in early 2012. She looks at Paul and doesn't recognize him. Not externally. Externally, he's same, maybe bit heavier, eyes red from lack of sleep. Internally, different person. He barely talks. Sits at laptop till 3 a.m., drinks non-stop. Looks at daughter like piece of furniture. She exists, and that's it. Daughter draws something and hangs on refrigerator. Stick figures. Mom, dad, her, all smiling. Paul walks past every morning, doesn't notice. Wife tries talking, suggests returning to South Africa, normal school, stability, life without guards at gate. Paul says, "We're staying?" She doesn't ask again. Month later, she leaves. Says going to parents for a couple weeks. Takes daughter, one bag. Paul drives them to airport. Daughter hugs him goodbye. Small arms around neck, warm. Paul hugs her back. First time in several months. She walks behind check-in counter, turns around, waves. Paul waves back. Returns home alone. Villa quiet. Security outside. Staff in their rooms. Paul walks into kitchen. On refrigerator, daughter's drawing. Stick figures, all smiling. He looks at it several seconds, takes it down, folds it, puts in drawer. Pours whiskey, sits at laptop. 3 weeks later, letter arrives from lawyer. Wife filed for divorce. Paul signs documents without reading. He's alone, completely. 300 people work for him, but none of them know him for real. Hunter is executor, not friend. Intermediaries are partners, not close ones. Guards fear him. Paul Le Roux, man controlling networks across 4 continents, can't call anyone just to talk. And in this loneliness, he makes mistake that costs him everything. August 2012. Message arrives from intermediary in Liberia. Major deal. Buyer wants weapons shipment. Ready to discuss long-term cooperation. $5 million for first delivery. Requests personal meeting. Paul reads message, leans back in chair. Rule number 1 he established for himself from beginning. Never meet in person. Never be in same room with client. Screen is only safe distance. He almost refuses. Types, not possible. All communication, deletes 5 million. New market, Liberia, small country. Corrupt, manageable. Americans barely work there. And one more thing. Something Paul won't admit even to himself. He's just tired of sitting alone in this villa, wants to get out, meet real person, feel like he still exists in real world, not just on screen. Paul looks at empty living room, at whiskey, at laptop, Types, confirmed, I will be there, September 27th. Sends, closes laptop, stands up, walks to terrace. Something inside says quietly, don't. Paul doesn't listen. He doesn't know buyer isn't buyer. It's undercover DEA agent. That entire deal is trap Derek Maltz prepared for 8 months, that they're already waiting for him at Monrovia Airport. Cliffhanger to Chapter 3, September 27, 2012. Paul Le Roux boards Flight Manila to Monrovia. 1 bag, laptop, passport in real name. He's flying to close $5 million deal. In reality, he's flying to people who spent 8 years building case against him. At Monrovia Airport, 6 DEA agents wait. Derek Maltz looks at arrivals board. Flight from Manila has landed. Maltz thinks, 8 years. Now. Paul Le Roux walks through airport corridor. Shorts, sandals, bag over shoulder, fat, unshaven, looks like ordinary tourist. Nobody looks at him twice. In 15 minutes, his life will end. And another will begin. One where he betrays everyone he knew. But first, arrest that changes everything. Chapter 3. The Traitor. September 27, 2012, in an interrogation room at Monrovia Airport, Paul Le Roux gave up in 4 minutes. Not hours, not days, 4 minutes. DEA agents brought him into room. Small, fluorescent light, table, 2 chairs. Agent laid folder in front of him, opened it, photographs, transactions, names. Paul looked at folder for 1 second. Just looked. Then raised eyes to agent, said, "Okay, I'm ready to talk." Agent didn't have time to respond. Paul already asking, "Who exactly do I need to talk to? Prosecutor? Let's do it right now." Derek Maltz, who'd hunted this man for 8 years, stood behind glass and watched. He expected resistance. Lawyers, negotiations, usually takes weeks. Paul was talking 3rd minute already. Maltz thought, this man decided long ago what he'd do when caught. He was just waiting. Paul talked 2 hours without stopping. Names, routes, accounts, passwords to encrypted servers nobody could crack for 8 years, methamphetamine supplier contacts in China, intermediary chain in Brazil, arms dealers in Ukraine, warehouse coordinates in Kenya. Agents checked information in real time. Everything matched. Paul didn't lie, didn't hide, didn't try to protect anyone. One agent stepped into corridor and told Maltz he's giving up everything, literally everything. Maltz asked, "Why?" Agent shrugged. "He's a programmer, calculated options. This is optimal." Joseph Hunter fell first. Thailand, Pattaya, specific address. Hunter lived there with new girlfriend. Thought he was safe. Thought Paul would cover him. Thai police arrested him 3 days later. At station, they showed Hunter Paul's testimony, page after page, every deal, every murder he committed on Paul's orders, with dates, with amounts, with victim names. Hunter sat and read. Man he trusted with his life sold him for prosecutor deal. Week after arrest, Paul agreed to work undercover. DEA gave him phone. Instructions simple: call your people, talk like usual, set up meetings, we listen. One of last calls was to man Paul knew 7 years, Eastern European intermediary, worked together since arms business started. Paul knew his wife's name, knew he had 2 kids. Man answered phone, happy to hear from Paul, asked how things were, said he missed him, said he had new proposal for shipments. Paul answered evenly, like always, set meeting in Bangkok, said, see you in 4 days, hung up. DEA agent nearby removed headphones, said quietly, good work. Paul poured water from glass, drank, said nothing. Agent watched him and waited. Maybe something would crack. At least 1 second. Nothing cracked. 4 days later, intermediary arrested at Bangkok airport. This continued 8 months. Paul methodically dismantled his own empire, Brazil. Police storm warehouse in São Paulo suburbs. 660 pounds of cocaine. 3 arrested. All connected to Le Roux network. Philippines. RX. Limited call center in Manila shut down. 140 employees. Most thought they worked for legal company. Zimbabwe. Gold mine confiscated. Manager arrested. Congo. Timber company closes. Illegal weapons found at warehouse. Empire Paul built over 10 years collapsed in 8 months. He destroyed it himself. Call after call. Name after name. In total, Paul helped arrest 17 people, mercenaries, dealers, intermediaries. All of them thought they worked for a man who would protect them. All of them were wrong. Maltz watched this and thought about one thing. Once asked Paul directly, "Do you feel anything at all?" Paul looked at him, not defiantly, not regretfully, just looked, said, "It's business. They would have done the same." Maltz understood. This man broken inside long before arrest, maybe from first murder, maybe earlier. Maybe always. Trial began in 2016. Charges: drug trafficking, arms trafficking, money laundering, leading criminal organization, 7 contract murders. Prosecutor read victim names: Catherine Lee, Dave Smith, 5 others. In courtroom sat Catherine Lee's mother, elderly woman, gray hair, hands clasped on knees. She came from another city, specifically to see man who killed her daughter. She watched Paul entire session. Paul never looked at her once. When recess announced, she approached barrier. Wanted to say something. What exactly? Nobody heard. Paul walked past without raising eyes. At same trial, Paul testified against his people, spoke calmly, clearly. Dates, amounts, names, details of murders he ordered, details of deals he made. Defense attorneys tried to break him, asked, "Do you understand people died because of you, that you destroyed families?" Paul answered in single words. No emotions, like testifying about someone else. B. Sentences came one after another. Joseph Hunter, 20 years federal prison. Ukrainian intermediary, 15 years. Brazilian dealer, 25 years. People who executed orders got terms. Man who gave orders got deal. June 25, 2016. Judge read sentence for Paul Le Roux. Courtroom closed. Press not allowed. Judge read over 20 minutes. Text classified immediately after reading. Officially known only one thing. Paul Le Roux pleaded guilty on all counts. Term not disclosed. Place of incarceration not disclosed. Witness protection program. Since 2016, nobody knows where Paul Le Roux is. No photos, no interviews, no records. Joseph Hunter serves 20 years in maximum security prison. Man who risked his life executing his orders. And Paul, who gave those orders, possibly free. Lives under new name, in quiet American town. Under protection of state he gave everyone too. And here story takes turn nobody expected. While courtroom read sentences to his people, on internet existed Bitcoin wallet, 1 million coins, untouched since 2009, at current rate over $30 billion. Wallet belongs to person named Satoshi Nakamoto, same one who in 2008 published Bitcoin white paper, who in 2009 launched first blocks, who in 2011 disappeared from internet, stopped answering emails, vanished. Nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. But some researchers started noticing coincidences. Paul Le Roux is one of the best cryptographers of his generation, creator of E4M. Satoshi used same cryptographic principles, same thinking style. Paul understood offshores and anonymous transactions better than most bankers. Bitcoin solved exactly this problem. Paul needed money that couldn't be traced. He had motive to create exactly such system. Satoshi disappeared in 2011. Paul arrested in 2012. Timeline converges. Experts compared E4M code and early Bitcoin code, found architectural similarities. Linguists analyzed Satoshi texts in Paul's emails, similar phrases, similar sentence structure. This isn't proof, but too many coincidences to ignore. If Paul Le Roux is Satoshi Nakamoto, it means one thing: man who created encryption to protect freedom, then built criminal empire, then betrayed everyone he knew, also created Bitcoin, technology entire world uses today, and he has $30 billion in Bitcoin he can't touch, or won't touch, or it's not him. Final coda. Catherine Lee's mother visits her daughter's grave every Sunday. Joseph Hunter counts days in federal prison. Paul Le Roux is somewhere